welcome back to our Coffee Tech Morning Chats. We haven't done one of these in a while, actually. It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month, so we thought we'd have a little bit of a chat about cybersecurity and things that you can do, and the things that we see on a day-to-day basis. What do you know, Chip? You're in the grind majority of it day-to-day. You see more, I suppose you probably see more of it on a day-to-day basis than technically I do anymore.
Yeah.
So you see the little things that people do that they shouldn't do, that if they didn't do them would make them a lot more secure.
Yeah, the most common thing that I see on a daily basis is that people don't realize the consequences of sharing too much information with third parties.
See that in day-to-day life though.
Yeah.
I just scroll down social media and see the amount of my friends. I'm not on Facebook much anymore, right? I don't use it much anymore, but if the odd time that I will scroll down and I see people answering those quizzes, you know, those quizzes where you can tell straight away it's them trying to pull information like, what was the street, like your name for this is the street you grew up on, or your dog's name, or that sort of stuff, which we know is social engineering.
Yeah, it's pretty much all the potential security questions that an recovery account might have. Yeah. Pretty much those are the answers that they are trying to get. I saw an interview where somebody on the street in America, they were like, where did you went to high school? There. What's your dog's name? This. What's your date of birth? But the silly thing was, the guy was like, oh, what's your password for your email? It's like, well, it's the school that I went to and a number. And the guy says like, so what number are you using? Oh, my date of birth. And what was the high school that you went to? And they give it without thinking. Yeah. The other guy is like, oh, it's my dog's name and my house number. But they do it with such ease without realizing. And then at the end, the guy tells them, it's like, oh, thank you for your password. And they're like, oh, what? It's like, yeah, that's the exactly same thing that happens with the Facebook campaigns, Instagram campaigns, or any other.
Phishing attacks is the same. For those of you who don't know, a phishing attack is an email that will come to you. So not this type of phishing, but a phishing email. Yeah, exactly. Well, I say phishing and people go, well, why are you talking about phishing in cybersecurity? Because it's spelled with an PH, not an F. But you'll get an email in that looks like, I don't know, that you need to, there's the biggest one that we've seen quite a lot over the last year or so is anything to do with NHS, anything to do with COVID, that sort of stuff, where it's like, oh, you need to redo your details, you need to redo your password, please type your password in twice. What it's doing is recording that information so that it can then use it, because unfortunately, as we're aware, human beings as a species were quite lazy. We use the same password over and over and over and over again. And if I get one of your passwords and then I go and test it against all different variations of accounts possible, guaranteed I'm going to get hit somewhere, and therefore I've got an entryway.
As you start talking about phishing attacks or phishing emails, a lot of people, I reckon, they will not know what a phishing email is. So I think we should explain a bit for the audience what's a phishing email, what's a spoof email.
So just here are two comparisons for you. This one on this side is a real email address, and this one just over the side next to Chip is a fake email. You will be able to see, or you might not be able to see, which one is real and which one is fake.
So pretty much a spoof email looks like, let's say Daniel emails me on a daily basis, like, oh, how have we checked this, or this is the plan for the next week. And a spoof email will look like, the name will be the same. The name that is presented when you send an email will be the same, will be Daniel. However, his email address will be something else, will be like...
It is a wolf in sheep's clothing, is the easiest summary of it. It is an email that looks as though it's coming from the right person, but there are telltale signs. Like, usually the grammar is not amazing. There is always a sense of urgency in it. It needs to be done now. I need this done this minute, because they want to catch you on the fly. And the domain of the email address will never be the same. Letters, the crafty one they're doing now, for instance, we're TCCB for our email address, and somebody go and buy a domain that is TC3B or TCEB, or just one little letter change. So at first glance, because our brains, when we read words, our brains read the first letter, the beginning and the ending of a word, and we fill in the rest. So at a quick glance, you can go, oh yeah, that's right. That's the right email address. But when you look at it again, there's a difference. There's a slight difference in it. But usually the things that you can tell it by is the sense of urgency. It's that I need this now, this second. It won't sound like the person it's coming from. That's probably the easiest way to summarize.
Phishing email is one of the most vicious sort of emails. If an email account or a staff member gets compromised, he will be used to send phishing emails to his contacts.
Oh, massively so. Yeah. The amount of those that we see is unbelievable.
Well, now there are more security measures in place, third-party security software that are available, add-ons for your email account, for your email system, and you can protect yourself better. However, how would you explain a phishing email to a non-technical person?
A phishing email is something that wants to pull your data. So it wants your login details. It wants some information off you because it wants to compromise your system. And it will usually come in the form of something that you would normally click on. As I said at the beginning, we've seen a lot of these over the last few years with COVID, NHS, that sort of thing. Renewing your account,
password
resets. Microsoft's
access
big one.
files.
Yep. You need to access this file. It looks as though it's come from the right people. So for instance, the campaigns that we see at the moment, a user at a company's account gets compromised. Their email account gets compromised. They didn't have MFA on, or they've been phished themselves and it's compromised their account. The attackers will take that compromised account and they usually sit on it for a little while. So sometimes 2 to 3 months they sit on it. Monitoring the mailbox. They then, because it has a large contact base with it, everybody emails a lot of people, so therefore it has a large contact base. They will then send out a phishing email, which is, Bob at X company wants to share this file with you. Click here to log in. It might look like a Microsoft SharePoint one that they're sending to you. The button looks right. There's certain things that look right because they've copied it. When you click on it, it takes you to a form, a website somewhere else that is not the right site and asks you for your 365 or your email login details. And because you believe it's from the correct person, because it looked as though it was a file that's being shared with you, you then put in your login details, so your username, your password, and your multi-factor code if you have multi-factor in place, and it sucks that information. And the minute it's got that information, it's already accessing your account. It's accessing your account so that it can multiply and do exactly what it did with Bob's email with yours. What we found is that they will go to a lower down the chain company and attack them that's probably got a bit less security, or their staff haven't been trained, and then they work their way up the chain because they want the bigger fish. They want the people that they can, you've got invoice runs once they're in your system. We can see that you invoice back and forwards hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of pounds or thousands of pounds. And they go, okay, and they sit and monitor that mailbox, and then they inject themselves, we've changed our bank details. Please put the money now into this bank. And people, because they've been sat there monitoring it and they don't have anybody that's checking, or they haven't got any protections in place, they then are compromised, and that money from that client that should have gone to the correct company has then ended up in the criminal's bank so that they can fuel what they're doing even more.
Oh no, I've been breached. What should I do next?
Contact your IT company first of all. If you don't have an IT company, contact a cybersecurity professional, contact an IT professional. Don't attempt to do it yourselves. Don't attempt to try and correct it or contact them. Or ransomware was a big one that we see, where when your files are locked. But if you've been breached, the first thing to do is to lock out that user. You won't know maybe who the user is, but you need to have an investigation done to find out who the user is. Lock that user out of everything. Yes, that's going to stop them from doing any work. but it's better to stop them from working for a day or so while it's being investigated than it is to allow the breach to carry on and lose reputation. You lose thousands of pounds, lose the ability to sell your products or to your services.
Do I have to report the breach to someone?
Yeah, so if you've had a data breach, if your company is based within the UK and you've had a data breach, then yes, you have to report it to the ICO. The ICO have a nice self-assessment that you can fill out that will tell you whether you have to report it or not. You then have to, if you do have to report it, if it is a breach that you have to report, you have to fill out an ICO form, send it off to them. They will check it to see what happened, what occurred, who did it, what data was compromised, what measures have been put in place to stop that compromise from happening again, and then they will either decide to fine you or not fine you. That's why you need a cyber professional and an IT professional in your corner at all times, especially with AI. With AI, with everything else that's going on at the moment, technology-wise, you need to have somebody in your corner that spends their life, their day to day in this, so that they can go, yeah, that's a breach, this is how we're going to handle it. They can react fast and they can get stuff done. There's a stat on Verizon's latest data breach report that 34% of breaches come from phishing emails. 86% of those breaches or of breaches have a human element to them.
Yeah.
So it's the human had to do something. A human had to interact. They had to put some information in. They had to do something. It wasn't just, oh yeah, we bombarded your system and we got access. No, they actually had to have something of that human to put information in. That's why training your staff is so important.
Have I told you about the new fear that I just unlocked?
No, what of a new fear?
I was watching a podcast and there's this pen tester guy, a very brilliant guy.
I know the guy you're talking about. I don't know his name.
It was with his charging cable, NSA.
Smartphone charging cable.
Smartphone charging cable.
Yeah.
So NSA in America developed a cable that could inject lots of
malicious packages.
Yeah, and it just looks like a regular charging cable, no difference in shape or form. If you plug it in your charging brick and into your phone, that's it. It will start. It's charging your phone. It will behave exactly the same way. However, it will monitor your keystroke. It can't do much if it's plugged in straight into your phone. However, lots of people use their laptops to charge it. And then it goes both ways. So the moment it's connected to the phone and to the laptop, on the laptop it can inject malicious software. It deploys via command. It can do like I don't know how many millions of lines, and pretty much you're screwed. So when we buy cables, when you go on Amazon and you buy a cable, or on eBay or whatever you purchase cables, or if somebody gives you a cable, we were talking during the October Cyber Awareness Month about USB sticks. You find a USB stick on the street and
don't plug it into your device.
Now the fear is going and is evolving to something a lot more.
Think of all the trade shows people go to.
Exactly.
And the little baggies they give away at trade shows, and it'll either have a USB stick branded to them or maybe a charger, or the multi-port charging cables that people give away with their logo on it.
A basic item, and technology evolves so much because pretty much it has a Wi-Fi adapter inside, a tiny bit.
And a mini PC.
Yeah, it's a mini PC, but don't think it's going to be plugged into, I don't have one. Don't think that it's going to be plugged into something like this. It's not in this end.
No,
all the technology it's in this end. So if you look at it, how thin, how small it is. Yeah, and it's dangerous. It's very dangerous now. And my faith in humanity is gone. It's like, oh my God, I never know that something is possible. But the more AI evolves, the new threats are unlocking.
It makes it harder for companies doing advertisement now. So when you're advertising, trade shows is a big one for me, right? Earlier on in the year, we were at Channel Live and they give away, everybody's giving away something. USB cables. I picked up a USB cable while we were away at the trade show. They give away stuff for advertising with their logo because it's things that you would use on a daily basis because it keeps their logo in your mind, right? But it now makes it not only difficult for people like us that are visiting the trade show and we're being handed stuff, but it makes it difficult for the companies that are at the trade shows now, and I'm just using trade shows as an example, right, that are at the trade shows to find something that is going to be useful, but and they can build brand awareness. But so I will never accept a cable off of anybody unless it's my cable.
No, no.
Unless it is my own cable. And when I buy cables, so I use Apple for my phone. I have some Android devices that we use for certain things. I will only ever buy from manufacturer because yes, it's going to cost me more money, but if it came direct from Apple, it shouldn't come with anything added to the USB cable.
You need to know what you're doing. So if you're working with very sensitive information, my advice for you is like make sure that you're using only original products from the manufacturer. Don't be cheap. Don't buy cheap because you'll end up buying twice. And long run, it might cost you your job and your identity.
But it's not all doom and gloom because security is layers, right? Yeah. So you need to pile on the layers. You need to use logic. You need to use sense. You need to have somebody in your corner that can look after you and protect you. But it is that thing of layers, and training your team. It's one of the layers, right?
AI is protecting businesses with the new security features that are being unlocked.
The mail protection apps now that are out there have AI built into them so that they're faster to learn. So, for instance, mail protection app always had some sort of some technological automation involved in it, so that it technically learned in a way the way mail flows and what is spam and what is not. For instance, even bog standard Microsoft Outlook 365 with no protections, nothing on it, you can right click on an email and go, that's junk. And after multiple times, Outlook learns that that is junk. That was before AI.
Funny enough that you mentioned Microsoft. I know that you were discussing with one of our Microsoft partners about the Copilot security.
So Microsoft are injecting or using Copilot into everything now, right? So there's Copilot for 365, there's Copilot Studio where you can build your own Copilots. They've bought out Copilot Security now. It's in preview at this precise moment, I believe. It might not be by the time this rolls, but it was in preview, where it monitors and learns everything about the way your business and about the way your 365 works, so that it gives you an all wraparound protection. Problem is, it's not cheap. It works on capacity basis and it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's very expensive. It's enterprise level. It hasn't filtered down to SMB markets yet. It is still at the enterprise level. It will end up filtering down because, as with all Microsoft products, they go enterprise first, they get mass adoption, then it filters down, they break it down. That's why we end up with the cost-effective solutions that Microsoft provides now.
They want to put in everything, but with the Copilot security, I'm thinking it's like with the SSDs when they first came into the market.
Yeah, uber expensive, uber amazing, but uber expensive. And quite quickly, the price dropped massively on them, bit by bit, down, so that everybody, I mean, you can't buy a device nowadays, a brand new device off the shelf. When you buy it, it doesn't come with a moving drive in it anymore, unless it is a bit, let's say a bigger boy laptop that's come with a large storage capacity, additional drive. It will come with a 2 terabyte moving drive, but its main drive, SSD. Everything's SSD. But you're right, the price came down really fast for that, so that everybody, they could get mass adoption on it.
Yeah, because it will be silly for Microsoft not to develop a security package that's
based around AI. Yeah, they've injected AI into everything.
Get assistance to secure your network.
Oh,
that's another subject that we need to cover, because I believe there are businesses, small, medium, and large, that don't have a secure network or do not understand the best practices of having a secure network. How do you secure your network?
You talk to an IT professional that actually cares. And why I say that is because the other week I was on site doing a job for one of my other companies, and there was an overlap in IT, as in order to do it, it's for a telecoms company. In order to do some work for the telecoms company on site, I needed access to some devices on site. I needed access to a router. I needed access to an AP, and I also needed the Wi-Fi password to be able to do some testing, connecting some devices. Now, we as a company don't run their IT. It's run by somebody completely different. The Wi-Fi password that I was given, it was 123 123 123. Default logins for their router, admin. On a router. This is a large business. This isn't a small one-man bander. This is a large business that works with national clients. And their router login was admin.
Nice.
Chris was with me on the day, and when I was given the Wi-Fi password, even Chris went, "What the?" And it was like, so it's all well and good getting an IT professional to help you, but you need an IT professional that knows what they're doing, an IT professional that actually cares and puts their name to something, as in, I look after this network, TCCB looks after this network, and it's secure to the utmost level that we can have it secure.
This example gave me an idea for a new hobby. So every single time I go to a restaurant or any place I connect,
Jump on the Wi-Fi, find the router, admin. Oh, look, I'm in.
then I'm gonna add, if it's possible, I'm gonna add a Wi-Fi network saying something silly or stupid, or like, oh,
secure your own network. I watching you. It is incredible the amount of companies that don't secure their devices. Now, it's the responsibility of the business owner to make sure that the best security is in place possible. The business owner is not an IT professional. No. The business owner needs to have an IT company look after them, or come in and set up their network. Even if they're not looking after them, they're just doing the initial setup for them. That has some longevity, that has been around. And when I mean longevity, I mean somebody's been around for a while, who has a very low turnover on their clients because they do what they're meant to. Somebody who has a cybersecurity department that can look after the cybersecurity side, know what levels of security need to be in place, given the network, given whatever it needs to be. It's hard nowadays, but there are enough of us out there that care about what we do, that you can find, no matter where you are in the UK, you can find an IT professional that actually will help you and support you. And failing that, if you can't find anybody, click the link in the description below and talk to us.
Yeah, this conversation takes us to another tip that we've done for the October Cyber Awareness Month. Change your bloody change your default password. Change your default passwords on your network devices.
On everything, change the default password, and don't change it to one password for everything. Right? Oh, I've got this really secure password. It's 12 characters long. It's got capitals in it. It's got 3 words in it. It's got numbers in it. It's got special characters in it. Brilliant. It's a really secure password. I'm now going to use that across every single account I've got. That kills the security off of it straight away, because it only needs to be breached once. Turns up in a breach once, you're done. So we don't want to be doom and gloomy. It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month. We hope that our chat has helped you to, if not giving you some ideas on what you need to do, or pointed you in the right direction. And as I said before, all of our information is to help and assist you guys. If you really are stuck and you can't find any good IT professionals, please do click the link in the description below. Visit our website, send us a message, contact us. We're happy to have a conversation and see if we can help you, or if you're in a part of the UK which we can't reach, we have a network of professionals around the country that we can put your way to help you and assist you. Stay safe out there and be good for Cybersecurity Awareness.